today. Wednesday, which we're going to do in the show. This show is called Waco, American Apocalypse. Oh, I'm excited. This is going to also go right next to Don't F With Cats. I have one more episode to do of that show, and then I'm going to be wrapping up that show, and this is going to be right with it. It's going to be right after it. You guys get the point. You guys know what I'm saying. But yes, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to film Don't F With Cats. I'm going to push that out, and then I'm going to get right back into this. This will not be one of those shows where I'm going to be waiting forever and eternity to do. There's only 3 episodes, and I do know about Waco. It's not like fresh on my mind, but I really want to jump into this. I do know about it. So this is pretty much, it showcases what happened in 1993 in Waco, Texas, when cult leader David, whatever the hell his last name is, faced off against federal government in a siege that lasted for 51 days. It was like a big cult, wasn't it? I thought that they did go back and forth. Well, spoilers. If this is what I think it is, I think they all killed themselves at the end, right? Didn't they all drink poison or something like that? I think that's what happened. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm trying to connect the dots. Anyways, I'm ready to jump into this, guys. You don't have to worry about anything. I have a lot of reactions that I have filmed. I have a lot of content that will be coming. I have posted already on my community tab that if I don't catch up with all my TV shows that I would like to do between today and tomorrow, which most likely is done today, that my movie that I normally do on Sundays, I'm going to push it back into Tuesday and then do that movie night on Tuesday, because I really need to catch up to all these shows that I have that is recorded and put on my PC before I delete them by accident. So please stay tuned. There is going to be animation shows that are going to be dropping. One Piece. I have the other shows. I can't remember the name. I filmed Peaky Blinders. I filmed a lot of shows. I can't remember everything at the moment. But you guys know how it is with me and my job. I'm trying to also provide you guys content, but also working nonstop. I'm exhausted, plus living the life that we're all supposed to live. That is just, it's crazy. But I at least filmed it. How about that? So I'm ready to jump into this, guys. This will be a full reaction from my entire platform here on the YouTube platform, as well as my other platform, Patreon. So guys, please sign up to one of those platforms and help support the channel today. This show also is on the top 10. I believe it's number 2 now on Netflix. So if you would like to see this show in its entirety without seeing my beautiful face over there making all sorts of faces and some commentary whenever I do commentary, you guys could go over to Netflix. What a wonderful platform they are. And thank you, Netflix, for letting me once again react to your stuff, your content, without being so on top of us reactors. I really do love Netflix, so shout out to Netflix. But if you guys like to see this, it's 3 episodes. It is on Netflix. It is a top 10 TV show miniseries that they decided to drop. So check out Waco, American Apocalypse on Netflix in its entirety if you do not want to see my reaction. But of course you want to see my reaction. That's why you guys are here. So without further ado, let's jump to Waco, American Apocalypse, and find out exactly what this show has got to give. And I said it 3 years ago. Really? Come on, Waco!
How much do you remember?
Pretty much everything.
You're living in that world. You're living in another time, another place, another dimension entirely.
David was our Christ, giving us the truths from God.
What about these people here? They think I'm the son of God.
Understand the isolated life of members of the Branch Davidian cult.
Its leader, David Koresh, claims he is Christ.
Husbands couldn't have sex with their wives anymore, only Koresh could.
I love him as a brother.
Manufacturing illegal machine guns.
They believed that the end of the world is coming soon and that they were going to be in a battle with the federal government.
These people killed 4 federal officials in the line of duty.
Honed to a fine edge, honed to kill.
Even see any sort of end to this.
From the media, this is a big damn story.
Over 7 weeks, it ended apparently with many deaths.
Will I ever appreciate somebody coming here with helicopters and pushing people around with guns? I'm talking to you. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Revelation states that Christ has the key of David.
Only he can open and none can shut. There's 150 Psalms here.
I needed to find God by looking up at the clouds. I tried it, but I didn't find God that way. But then I met David, and we packed the kids up, and I moved to Texas.
I was born and raised on the property, and David Koresh is my uncle. It was like having 100 moms.
The whole time we were listening to David, we were living and doing God's will.
Unseen force that seemed to direct me through life. Then I met David in 91. And they said, "You're a drummer?" And I had drumsticks in my hand, so I said, "Yeah." Dave just looked at me and he said, "You don't even realize how every day there are forces carving out your path. By being there, you're part of God's plan." And I could see that this was history.
Koresh convinced his followers he was the Christ, he was the Messiah.
Learned that there was going to be a war, that the feds were going to shoot at us.
The government's going to roll up on tanks, and it's going to be this big shootout. He and all of his followers are going to go up in flames and be translated instantly. We're amassing enough armaments out at Mount Carmel to outfit a small army.
They were buying and selling guns at gun shows. That was how things were done in Texas.
It makes nobody's business whether we have a gun or not at this place.
They were converting semi-automatic assault rifles to automatics. ATF was asked to come in by the local sheriff's department.
80% of the work ATF does has to do with illegal firearms. Figured they probably had 40 to 50 machine guns and maybe 100 hand grenades getting out and trying to make entry into the building before any of them could arm themselves.
The morning of February the 28th, we were set to serve the warrant.
Arrest David Koresh and to seize all of the illegal weapons that were inside the compound.
And he asked me, "What are you doing?" "I'm going to church." And he said, "No, you're not. There may be a law enforcement raid at Mount Carmel. Kick in the front door. I'm gonna get a couple of interviews, and I'll be home for a late lunch."
That day, you have a specific assignment. Mine was to watch and report back what I see. Long riflemen next to me are watching with their scopes. So we have good eyes on the front.
An elongated structure, but it looked like it was just made up of plywood. Kind of just decided, let's just sit here and wait. Got a radio communication from Jim Peeler. And he said that he was lost. And Peeler says, "Well, hang on, there's a mailman coming. I'm going to ask him."
My dad was a mailman. He was out. Dad asked them, why, what's going on? They said, "Oh, they're fixing to do a raid there today." Didn't know my dad was one of us.
I know that I heard some talking down the hall, so I wanted to go see what was going on there.
He had an undercover agent on the inside, Robert Rodriguez.
One of the followers of Koresh, a guy named David Jones, who was a rural postman, it was very, very clear that something drastic had changed. He looked out the window and turned back around and said, "The time has come." Rodriguez thought he was going to get shot in the back when he went out to get in his truck and drive to the undercover house.
Lost the element of surprise. "We can't go ahead with this." And he said, "We're going ahead with it. Get your stuff on."
See these military helicopters approaching the compound.
Doors banging around, people run up and down the hall, and I hear helicopters.
We heard a rumble, and we see two trucks coming right at us.
We're full of ATF agents, so we could get up close to the front door. Going up to a place that has a lot of windows, it's 2-story, and it's on an elevation. It's not a position you like to be in. You don't want somebody to be on the high ground.
One of the guys at the front reached back and squeezed the guy behind him's hand, and that went all through the trailer.
Kids were still getting dressed when I looked out the window. 50 armed men with black ninja suits.
Somebody sticks their head out.
Koresh stepped outside and told him to get off this property.
David got to the front door, and I heard, "Hold on, hey, wait, there's women there," and then just like all hell broke loose.
All hell breaks loose. Gunfire like you wouldn't believe.
Well, it definitely was not us that shot first, because I remember the first rounds I heard, we were in big trouble.
We remember one of the agents saying, "Well, we know the warrant's good," because the warrant was for machine guns.
And then they started throwing hand grenades out the windows.
Agents, and they're running toward the compound, and they have a ladder.
Once we got on the roof, then they started shooting at us on the roof.
CP, we're on the ground. We took 2 hits. What's going on?
I remember one of David Koresh's wives come running in the room, the rifle, and then all of a sudden she flew back. So I watched her get shot. I just remember her scream.
It's right outside my room. The next event was a bullet coming in my window.
I'm totally in preservation mode. I am down in the tornado shelter because I don't want to get shot, period.
Guys on my team broke the window. I've got the red stripe around my helmet. I ran over to the doorway where the guy had gone out, and I was looking through the crack in the door. I just stuck my 9mm up, got a sight picture, and fired. He went down immediately.
It was just hearing when people were getting shot. The tone and the change in their voice.
And I got hit in the hip and in the upper thigh. I don't want to die on this damn dirty floor in this building. If I'm going to die, I want to do it outside with my friends.
Going to the theater and watching a war movie, but it was real life.
I rolled down to the edge and my leg slid over and I fell. Set out down below there and broke some ribs.
50 caliber rifle that penetrates armor, and it started firing at the agents on the ground. They started firing at that tower, trying to take, trying to take the gunfire off the agents in the front. Started firing on our position. You could hear them whiz right by your ear, thinking, when that happened, that I should have got more life insurance.
Just up from where he was, and whoever was shooting at me through that window, he shot back at him. He raised up again to shoot. They shot him in the head and killed him. He was more like a son to me than he was an agent.
Some agents started yelling at us. TV man, go call for help. Get to the car, picked up the cell phone, and called the newsroom. Every ambulance in the county out here. He goes, well, what's going on? And I just kind of held the phone up. And then he comes back and he said, every ambulance in the county is already out there.
I've got 2 dead on the roof.
Maybe the car's not that bad of a place after all. Maybe I'll just hang out here for a while.
3, 2, 1. He's been struck by numerous bullets, one right here. Apparently the alcohol and tobacco people have made telephone contact.
Yeah, there's 75 men around our building and they're shooting at us in Mount Carmel.
Kenny King, who was a friend of mine, was calling, telling us he was bleeding to death.
Harry, please, goddamn.
He was a Marine veteran. When he's telling you that, you know it's bad. We're going to have to solve this, and we're going to have to save his life, and negotiating a ceasefire was the only way out.
This Lynch? Hey, Lynch? Yeah. That's kind of a funny name there. What do you guys do that for? Well, they will, this is what I'm doing. How come you guys try to be ATF agents? How come you try to be so big all the time? Well, the ceasefire, guys, ceasefire. We want a ceasefire, too. I think the sticking point now is getting the injured officer out of there. I know, you guys are very foolish. That's what I'm trying to... You don't know what we have. You don't know what we don't shot. And you need to call the President of the United States and explain to him what you've done in the nation. Hey, this is a democracy, supposedly Republic, you know? Pick up their injured officer. With some time, we could probably get the message around. Okay.
I have to tell all the agents, I got a ceasefire, now you need to go get Kenny King.
They ceasefire, then we'll ceasefire. Let us get that man out, and then we'll pull back.
Panicked are you at this point? Like, what's your kind of emotional...
I'm in complete shock.
I just knew that everybody was scared and people were getting hurt. Crawling down the hallway.
Perry had gotten shot in the stomach and went down screaming, yelling to be put out of his misery. And this went on for a long time.
He was begging for somebody to kill him.
Perry was removed from the earth. We finished Perry off. I go out to take stock, and I come to find out that David has been shot.
The ceasefire, we bring a couple of ambulances.
Come get me, guys. Come get me. We'll be there in a few minutes. Hold on.
Kenny was tore up real bad, but we saved him. He had 13 holes in him.
I remember locking eyes with one agent as he was walking by, and he just had this look of complete disbelief on his face. I felt bad for him, but I also felt kind of elated.
Get my battery, John. Get my battery behind the bus.
Agent shot in the chest, and he was in bad shape. Will you put my wedding ring back on my finger? Act of his makes me think he's probably a really good guy.
I got up there, the ambulance was full, there wasn't any room for me. Well, the guys grabbed me and threw me up on the hood of their car, and they said, drive this guy out of here. Those guys whose hands you squeezed, it was the last time they'd ever have their hands squeezed because they were killed.
Did what you asked me to, it was wrong and you knew. I'm just a stranger to you, way when you were through. Red, white, and blue. Well, I went.
Get that camera out of here! Get out of here! Get that shit out of here!
He had to go through a gauntlet.
And we're talking about?
Yes, sir, I
got people shot. Get the hell off of here.
I'll get off the property. That's what I'm doing, sir.
Full respect.
I am, sir. Keep moving.
He had the tape. They didn't mind, you know, the cameras being there before it started.
Boys back there, you hurt real bad? He probably got 3 or 4 that maybe passed. I'm fine. Is John okay? Yeah, he's our car. We've got 3 bodies in.
You up for a live interview?
Huh?
You up for a live interview?
Whatever. John's back. I can set it up.
Air flight helicopters, 2 of which landed, have taken off.
Hey, standing by, Unit 2.
All the B-roll back to the station where they recorded it, and so then it was all right.
And headline news on Judy Fortin. Hospitals in Waco, Texas report.
He said that he had never seen anything with this magnitude or severity.
He believes he is the second coming of Jesus Christ. If that's the truth, the Messiah is well armed this time.
All of a sudden, they start showing excerpts from that morning. The FBI has principal responsibility for investigating the murder of federal agents. At the time, the ATF were asking for assistance from the FBI.
February 28th, 1993, 34 years old. I was a sniper on the FBI hostage rescue team. Sole last backstop in the event of some exotic crime or terrorist action. And I remember saying, okay, we got a gig. We're gonna fly to Waco. In my mind, it was very likely that further violence was going to ensue.
Command post set up at the airport, which is 8 miles away. It was a pretty hectic scene. I was focused on the main thing of calling Koresh.
I'm just concerned.
They're not as bad as I am, that's for sure.
Let's work on getting these kids out. So I said, what do you want, David? What do you really want? He wanted the world to listen to him. He wanted the world to believe he was God.
Was demanding that the local media would play a message from him, that he would release 2 more kids.
On the kids, he said 2 by 2. Noah's Ark. See, everything with him was a symbol.
He would release the children in the compound 2 at a time, and he did.
And I think you said it was Scott and Chrissy.
The code, they considered law enforcement to be the devil.
David felt that his main goal was getting his message out. Here I am sending them out to Babylon.
So I said, they're going to come right here to me.
Hello. David, how you doing, buddy?
I'm all right.
Listen, I got some of the children.
Get Kathy.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes? They got a lot of people out there, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Remember what I said. God sits on the throne.
I'm saving the life of my children. That is not what was going through our heads. I don't care about living. I care about living for God. That was probably the hardest thing I had ever done.
Live for God or sending kids out?
When I arrived at Waco, Jim Cavanaugh was the prominent negotiator. He brought in our hostage negotiation team from Washington, D.C.
Showed up 13 hours after the shooting and was directed to where there was an ongoing negotiation. I got a good rapport going with Koresh, but I've got to get some sleep. Would you take over?
I mean, ATF and the FBI, we're like brothers. We sometimes fight, but we always have each other's back.
No, I know you're real comfortable in talking with Jim, and but I'm going to be here for a while.
I promised Jim, I gave my word that I'd do with nobody but Jim.
Yeah,
he said, we're going to do this together to the end. No buts. That's what he said.
Jim had made a fatal mistake. Koresh took him literally.
That didn't mean I didn't want him to talk to Gary. I wanted him to talk to any negotiator. He was still holding on to that.
No one had put a perimeter around Mount Carmel once ATF left. We went to an abandoned farmhouse that was about a half a mile away from Mount Carmel. I went onto the roof, set up my rifle, set up a spotting scope, and put eyes on a very large structure in the middle of a very large nothing. So we set up a position, we started providing information back to the command element.
All was back and forth, building trust, focusing, listening, trying to work with them.
David Koresh eventually said he would come out, he and all his followers.
We're going to make this tape to give it to you as early as possible.
Wanted it broadcast on the Christian Broadcasting Network.
Okay, here we go. We're going to the tape of David Koresh.
We developed a very elaborate plan that we worked out with both Koresh and his assistant, Steve Snyder, who we spoke to quite a bit.
Morning, and something seemed to be in the air. Police closed roads. Tighter restrictions were placed on the press.
I was convinced if we went out, they were going to shoot us.
Coming out meant give up everything you believe.
We're getting the last few things together and stuff, and like I said, I just got to make sure some of these guys don't do something stupid.
Just got off the phone with ATF. They advised me that we are still in a standoff position at Mount Carmel.
20 minutes of daylight, so if they're going to do anything at daytime, it would have to be relatively soon.
And at that moment, saying goodbye to David was the most important thing.
He's laying there, he's wounded. We think this is going to happen.
It looks like something is beginning to unfold.
It's all going to be over. We're all going to go back home. People would say, you were one of those guys at Waco.
Steve.
Yeah, I just talked to them. Everything's ready to go right now.
David and I made an agreement. I've got to have some movement.
Jim?
Yes, Steve?
He said his God says that he is to wait.
David has received a sign from God. He's been told that he must wait. This could potentially end a disaster.
How long do you think we've been preparing?
David said, God said to wait. Commitment to your God.
You come in, you fucking shoot at us?
Guns drawn and pointed in the air, and someone fired me, then I'm going to lay down and die for anybody.
Do you put your trust in the Lord?
I am the Lord.
Well, okay. Now we got that done. Oh, I like that. I feel like Netflix has definitely stepped up their true crime type of little section of their platform. This first episode was amazing. Now I kind of remember. I don't know who the hell, what was the cult that I thought of that they all poisoned themselves and all died? I don't know. It's not them. It's definitely not this cult. But now I remember this. I think I see this in a movie, Waco. Did I? Pretty sure I did. Anyways, this was insane. This is a crazy, crazy first episode. We have 2 more episodes to go. Expect these to be pushed out like bam, bam, and then I'll be just done with it. Don't F with Cats. We're going to finish that episode 3. Thank you guys so much for the true crime sector of my platform. Being here and waiting for more of my true crime content to be dropping. You guys are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. I see your DMs. I see that you guys are excited for this more true crime. And don't worry, have no fear. Andres Array is here. Bloop, 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 bloop. We're going to keep going with true crime. As much as Netflix drops it, we're going to continue to drop it. You guys can always comment down below with more true crime or documentary series that you guys are into, that you guys want me to watch. I will read your guys' comments, and most likely, eventually, it will be put on the platform. Thank you guys once again. Please like this video. Please share this video, and don't forget to comment down below. And I'll see you guys next time with more true crime.